So again, a familiar reading since we heard this past Sunday. The Gospel speaks to us of this time when Jesus, at the end of the Last Supper, is praying to his Father just before he goes out to the Garden of Gethsemane and gets arrested. And so we hear him say, "I gave them your word, and the world hated them, because they do not belong to the world any more than I belong to the world." Now, in the Gospel of John, we hear there's different meanings of the word world. And so we got to make sure we're not thinking that when he's talking about the world, he's talking about the created world. When we look at the creation, that's good. God is not saying, get out of creation, get out of the material world. That's not what he's saying, but rather, when he's talking about world in this sense, he's meaning worldliness. The spirit of worldliness, which is opposed to the spirit of our God and Father. And so he says, "I do not ask that you take them out of the world." You don't have to be pulled out because they're going to be hated just as I is hated. But, Lord, Father, that you protect them from the evil one. And I think about all those times in my life that I have not been, as they say, in the world but not of it. I have been in the world and of it, where I'm attached to the things of the world, where the worldliness draws me in. And what happens when the worldliness draws me in? Well, then my focus becomes on this worldliness, the things here. And we step away from God's protection. Rather, the Lord is saying, sometimes we have to make a little sacrifice. Break ourselves from these worldly things, which we can enjoy them, but when we attach an importance to them which makes them seek to fill something that they can't do. When we try to use the worldliness to fill our emptiness, what happens? That we just are more empty, and it gives us an immediate and very short-term feeling of filling up, but what happens? Then we're left more empty before, so we go for more, and it ends up being an addictive mentality. And the Lord is saying, will you take a little sacrifice where you break free from these little ways that you're trying to medicate yourself with worldly things, where you're trying to fill your existential loneliness, where you're trying to fill that emptiness that only I can fill. If you sacrifice these, break yourself from these things, then I can come and fill that emptiness. Then I can fill that void. It's a little bit of a hurt, a little bit of a, as they say, violence to ourselves in that moment, but eventually will lead to a greater peace and joy, so that the Lord can protect us from the evil one, instead of us basically making like this highway for him to come into our hearts. This day may we allow this prayer that Jesus made for us to touch us, that he may pull us out of this worldliness, so that we may be focused on enjoying the things of the world in appropriate ways, but also on allowing God to fill our emptiness, to fill our loneliness, to be the one to protect us, to draw us to his heart.